Your brain cannot make up faces. So anybody that you've ever dreamed about or seen in your dreams, you've seen somewhere in real life.
I don't think that there's anything in life that's quite like having a kid.
Going back to having someone be fully dependent upon us, you have to die to yourself. I think the part of nesting that gets ignored is the readiness in your spirit and in your mind. It's getting emotionally ready to close the chapter that you just experienced. We're now in a culture as a society, as a cutoff culture. It is trendy to cut people off from your life and just, they don't serve their purpose with me, just bye. If your treasures are laid up in heaven, you're not looking to drive a Lambo here. You're not looking to wear Cartier here. You're not looking to go on expensive vacations and drive private jets and do all those things here. You're laying your treasures up in heaven, so you're doing work with your left hand that your right hand doesn't know it's doing.
Hey.
Hey.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing.
Are you experiencing anything familiar?
No.
Nothing familiar?
Well, I
A couple years
haven't
after the
been
first?
here since before our first. So vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with that?
Oh, it's different now because we have video now.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, first time was only audio.
that's right.
So, remember when you knocked the shirt when I was going to buy it? Tommy Bahama, classic, vintage. The one thing you and Michael have in common, just ragging on me about.
Is that how we're starting this off?
That's apparently the way we're starting off. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So we are back. This is my wife, beautiful Sarah Ann.
oh, we're doing full legal names?
Full legal government, written on paper.
Got it. Just put me all out there.
Just a whole biz. Whole
Mhm.
biz, yeah. We are back. First official appearance on the big screen.
Mhm.
And you can't see it, or maybe you can see it a little bit, but we are expecting a second.
That's right.
Second creature.
No. Second
Yeah.
angel.
No. Second creature. Second, a carbon copy of Sarah and Abel, because the first one, if you've seen my son, is...
Creator's rights.
You could say that. You could say that.
That's what happens when you carry for 9 months.
Well, you know what? I would love to see some of my characteristics in this next one, so
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to boycott.
Your son has a lot of your characteristics.
Attitude, sure.
Every time he throws a fit, he looks like you.
See,
He does the eyebrow thing.
what's the eyebrow thing?
His eyebrows become one solid line
I don't do
across
that.
his forehead.
I don't do that in the slightest at all.
Yes, anyone who has seen you in the wild knows exactly what you're talking about.
In the wild.
In the wild.
I feel wild. We just recently experienced... I know. What are you, infectious? What's going on here? We just recently experienced a whole family sickness.
Yes.
And making it through that Armageddon.
Mm-hmm.
God was good. God showed up and brought us through. It was good.
Yes.
So
Who brought the sickness home?
you know what? Sickness just has this way of just, floating. Get your finger out of my face. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. No, yeah, it was me. I'm probably the only one who gets out of the house these days. Nesting.
Some of us work from home.
Yeah. So you've watched the podcast
Yes.
develop from audio only, pure chaos, technical difficulties, to having a couple appearances on the show yourself.
Mm-hmm. If you're an OG, you know.
If you're an OG, you know. What's the hand signal for the OGs? It's a hand sign. What you got?
I got nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Well, we are unscripted. Okay, so
I'm
if you're
not
expecting to have some
I'm
sort
not
of
throwing
like
up
preparation
any
for
hand
this.
signs.
Okay.
No.
Anyways, you've seen it all. Ground zero, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
what do you think of the show today, current, present?
Oh, I think it's evolving. I think it's doing great things. I think that it's gone through many changes, but I mean, that's just part of life. You have to evolve, you have to adapt, you have to grow, you have to learn, you have to be better. I feel like if you would have started off day one, you had all the equipment and everything would have stayed the same, although that would have been cool, I guess. But I mean, your audience has to grow with you, you know? And podcasts have come so far since even just 2 years ago. So, you know, now everybody has a podcast. Now everybody has sponsorships and everything. So,
It is the number one way to market your brand and to market your, I guess, just your personal life, your personal experience. You know, you have celebrities that are doing it. You have, you know, what are some of your favorite podcasts if you had to name names?
oh, wow.
Go ahead. Why not?
Well, let's see. On the regular basis, we can go ahead and put it to rest. I am the unscripted #1 fan. I watch all the videos.
You're going to have to fight Ryan for that.
I watch the reels. I like the stuff. I don't see Ryan's name on much.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna
I don't
lie.
know.
I ain't seen that boy comment.
Ryan, you better start commenting on these, because if you don't,
I'm looking.
you're
I'm
looking.
watching.
I'm keeping tabs.
I'm keeping tabs on it, Ryan. No, he's busy. He's serving our country.
He is currently overseas somewhere. Appreciate you. Salute you,
Yes,
Ryan. So,
we deeply respect you.
anyways, #1 fan of the Unscripted podcast.
Yes, yeah. Just wanted to make that clear, crystally clear.
All right, we're all on the same page.
Put that to rest. The other podcast I watch are they differ, but I watch the Unashamed podcast. I watch Sadie Robertson's podcast. I watch Lord have mercy. I'm blanking. This is what pregnancy does to you.
No, see, what happened there was this was a big test. And #1, #2, #3, #4 should all have been unscripted. There are no other podcasts on the planet. So
You
if you're
put out one podcast a week.
okay,
I work 5 days a week.
so you need a podcast. You need an episode for like every day of the week.
That's, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you
Following
work from home, you have things that keep you company.
Okay.
I watch Lisa Harper.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Bible podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, well, I
I
think
should say.
the golden question really, realistically, is when
You're-
are you starting your podcast?
Yours is the only business podcast I watch.
We don't even really talk about business anymore.
You kind of do.
When and I wouldn't say we do. I
You
think we're
talk
just
about
like
business. You talk about AI.
we do talk about a lot of AI.
You talk about the gym.
Occasionally we talk about the gym.
Talk about fun facts.
Yeah. Do you have a fun fact?
I do have a fun fact, actually.
Okay. What
Okay.
you got?
Your brain cannot make up faces. So anybody that you've ever dreamed about or seen in your dreams, you have seen somewhere in real life.
There's no impromptu faces that you're creating in your dreams.
Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you've seen that person at least at some time in your life.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because everything gets stored in your subconscious.
Yeah. That would be memories, right?
Technically.
Yeah.
Well, subconscious, no, you can't recollect your subconscious.
Hmm.
I mean, can you access it 24/7?
My subconscious?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've got.
I mean, there's a reason why you say you can't remember your dreams.
Well, I don't say that.
I mean, you said it like 2 episodes ago.
I do.
See, I'm just proving, I'm proving the fact that I listen and pay attention. Thank you so much.
Interesting.
Put
You
that badge on me right there.
you don't create any new faces in dreams. It's interesting. So do you create anything brand new in dreams?
I mean, I don't know.
How deep down the rabbit hole did you go?
I didn't go that deep.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
I was mainly interested in like people because, you know, like when you have dreams and it has random people in it and you're like, who is that? Never seen them before?
Do you pause mid-dream and go, what the frick are you doing here?
No, I wake up and then I go, I wonder who that was.
I don't know if I do that.
Do you have a fun fact today?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Actually, I do have a fun fact.
The build up to that.
And we kind of announced it already, but fun fact, we're gonna be parents again. Yeah. I have another little munchkin to get back to the original aspect of this podcast in this episode. We're gonna have another little munchkin.
Good segue.
Good segue. And this first experience has just been a joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if we can go all the way back to like the first episodes with Matt on here before Waylon was here and having that conversation and him expressing the fact that, you know, your kid's going to be particular to you. And it's exactly been the way that, you know, raising, he's 2 years old now, Waylon. And so 2 years ago today, sometime having that discussion to being where we are now today and expecting, are we naming names?
This is your show.
Avery, yeah, right. Avery June is who we're expecting, a little girl. So we're gonna have one boy, one girl, kind of the dynamic duo. And yeah, I think a whole 2-year experience with Waylon was just so much fun.
Mhm.
I think it was very unscripted, which is funny considering the name of our podcast, but it was very unscripted. It was very unique. I think that no matter what anyone had said about the experience of having kids, ours was just very unique to the design of our atmosphere. Obviously, to like now seeing him and he prays with us over meals, you know, and he like closes his eyes and holds our hands and says amen and all this kind of stuff. He's watching us. He's becoming like his own little guy,
Mhm.
but with the flavor of like specifically what we do. We don't allow devices or iPads or anything like that. So like we've watched him just like experiencing life just kind of raw, which is good, I think, in comparison to some of the other, you know, dynamics that we've seen out there. You know, we can go to dinner, we can have a conversation at dinner. Sometimes he's moody, sometimes he's not. That's just being a kid though, right? I mean, like
Mhm.
you should want, there's not going to be consistency no matter how you look at it, but it's just, I don't know. It's been a really fun, adventurous, unpredictable 2 years. And so I'm excited to do that all over again to some degree with you, with Avery.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling though? Because you're experiencing it, you know, you're
Firsthand.
cooking something, you know?
Oh, I'm cooking.
Yeah. The dinner bell is like on the other side of, you know, it's coming.
It's coming
know?
quickly. Yeah, I'm very excited. I feel like, you know, I wasn't fully prepared, but you know, here we are, and that's totally fine. I always thought I was going to be a boy mom.
Wait, hold on a second. You can't just lead off with, I wasn't fully prepared. Like you're making it seem like I did something to you.
No, I just mean that
The basement, I keep her in the basement.
that's why I'm so pale.
Yeah. You know, you're going to give me children or you're not leaving this house.
No, not even in the slightest. I feel like it just happened very rapidly. We had, you know, just started talking about having another child. God blessed us with another child very unexpectedly. And it just happened really fast. It was just a whirlwind, which I know it's not like that for everybody. So, you know, just very grateful for that. Very grateful that it's gone so smoothly and that everything is is going so healthily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought I was going to be a boy mom. I always had a feeling that I would just have a herd of boys and that I would just be in all the boy things. So finding out she was a girl was equally as exciting as it was shocking for me, because I didn't grow up being a girly girl. There's a lot of things that, I mean, all my friends knew I didn't know, like makeup and contouring. And a lot of my friends growing up were into designer things and all that type of stuff. I was really into basketball and hunting and stuff. So I feel like I had a little wrestle with feeling underqualified for a while. But, God has brought us through that. And
Underqualified to be a
girl mom.
girl mom. Okay. Well, you're not that. You're not underqualified.
Oh, well, I wasn't fishing, but thank you.
Well, anything brand new about this experience, being pregnant and carrying child, that's completely different than the first time.
Yeah, I was a lot sicker this pregnancy than I was with Waylon.
That is true. Yeah. I wonder if that's just a girl thing or if that's a hair thing, or
A what?
don't they say like,
A hair thing?
yeah, if the child has like a whole bunch of hair?
Oh, well, if they have a whole lot of hair, you just get a lot of
Reflux.
acid reflux.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you meant my hair. Is it just your hair that's the
Yeah,
problem?
are you just
or
his main? Just
just because it's straight? Yeah, so I was a lot sicker and I felt run down quicker.
Yeah, but do you feel, the first time was like there's a whole bunch of uncertainty, or like not uncertainty, but just like
Fear?
no, like what's going to happen? You're like going to that new ride, and you've never been to the peak of this new ride, and you don't know what's on the other side of it. But now you kind of know what the end of childbirth is like. Like, is there anything new over the course of her growing? You kind of going through some of the hormonal changes that you were maybe being more prepared for it, or understanding like what that felt like the first round made it easier, or did it give you peace, or did it give you maybe a little bit more anxiety? Like what?
I feel like this round of pregnancy I was way less anxious than I was the first. The first round I questioned everything. My body was changing for the first time, and it was just very much like, is this normal? Is this normal? It was a lot of Googling.
A lot of Google.
It was a lot
Yeah,
of Googling.
Okay.
This time, I actually have not really Googled anything. I might have Googled one or two things, but no, I felt an enormous amount of peace. I feel like I've just been able to ride through it, that God has shown himself faithful in everything. And being more sick this time has also been a blessing, because it's really caused me to slow down and really evaluate what's like number one priority and what could fall to the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a difference in you. You walk in confidence. You seem to be a little bit more ahead of, the curve of some of the changes. And, you've been very present during this pregnancy, which has been a blessing, because holy cow, the whole concept and idea of conception, pregnancy for 9 months or however long God blesses you with, and then delivery, and then postpartum and all that kind of stuff, like all of that is just so dynamically new, especially if you've never experienced it before, that I don't know that you could take enough classes to like really prepare yourself for like what that experience is like. And I don't know, it's really cool to see, especially in our marriage. We made it to 8 years, and everyone says, oh, the 7th year, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And so, we're 8 years in to our marriage, going on 9 this coming year. And who we are together as a couple in this marriage, especially after going through the healing and the mending and um the spiritual breakthrough of that first experience of pregnancy to now. I mean, it's the ultimate test.
Mhm.
It's the ultimate test of marriage. It's ultimate test of life. Are you, like you said, um you're maybe feeling a little under, would you say it was under qualified to be, a mother of a girl? Um but I think everyone kind of goes through that position of feeling, am I qualified to just be a parent in general?
Yeah.
Am I ready to give up the things to some degree? There's some sacrifices. Am I get ready to give up some of the things that I really value and like I really enjoy doing, the freedom to go do certain things or activities, um the freedom to be able to just relax at the end of a day. Well, that doesn't always, although I think I probably try to do that a little bit more than you do. Your brain is probably always actively, "Oh, I've got to do dinner. I've got to do this. I've got to do all this kind of stuff." And so it does. It becomes, you're either going to mature in it or you're going to crumble in it.
Mhm.
And I don't think that there's anything in life that's quite like having a kid.
No, definitely not. And I think one of the biggest shifts that we've had from the first pregnancy to the second is the first pregnancy, we were very focused on the birth aspect. So we were looking forward to the birth. We were learning about how birth works, understanding the birth, everything like that. And we were totally blindsided with postpartum. I think we both were.
Sure.
I think I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that this time I'm more focused on the postpartum aspect. The birth is going to be whatever God designed it to be. So whenever it happens, however it happens, it's going to be a God thing. So for me, it's like, that's cut and dry. What where my focus is that um I'm preparing for the postpartum, for the hormonal change, the fallout, if you will,
Mm.
the sudden adjustment from, you know, having just a 2-year-old to having a 2-year-old and a newborn. It's it's going to be a very drastic change very fast, because your sleep's interrupted, you're on a whole new schedule. I mean, we've been very blessed that Waylon's been so independent. And so going back to having someone be fully dependent upon us again is, you know, it's a dying thing. You have to die to yourself.
That's true. You do. And, you know, it's interesting because like women, they go through, that nesting period. I need to
Mhm.
make sure that my home is, prepared for this new life and this new person to come into it, safety wise. And, we have a couple dogs and different things that you have to kind of prepare yourself and nest for. But then also, I think I told you recently, like literally the other day, that I think I'm kind of hormonally going through this new thing too, which I experienced with Waylon, which was or is that like my life is changing like radically.
Mhm.
So now like there's this new mouth that I have to go out and provide for. I'm going to have to do that for quite a while, which is good. It's a good thing. And it's not that my body's rationalizing it as a bad thing. It's just that, um, it's something you don't have control over. Like she's coming,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
Inevitably.
inevitably she's coming. And so like I'm preparing myself for what I'm going to have to do, how I'm going to have to provide differently. Like there is some, sorry, some uncertainty in that. And, um, of course, like it goes back to like, sometimes I feel underqualified, like I'm not making $350,000 a year, that'd be really nice to be able to make that amount, and, would that ease some burdens? Sure. Obviously we know that our sustenance is in the Lord,
Mhm.
and in God and how he's providing for us, which he's shown up miraculously in like the last month or so to kind of reconfirm, his authority over our family and his position over our family and our foundation, which is and should be vested in him and his word and his promises. But like even still, like it's sometimes I get unnerved. That like, am I going to be able to do this and do this well?
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Your responsibility is increasing.
Yeah.
So, and also as the head of the household, unfortunately, that's what falls on you, is you're having to provide and steward and protect, the head of the household, and women are the nurturers.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we have like a different role of responsibilities. That's what makes us unique. But ultimately, I think, I think the nesting thing, I think it gets easily overlooked, to where people chalk it up to, oh, she's nesting, so she's going to clean her baseboards and she's going to dust and clean things that
Yeah.
no one's ever going to see. The baby's never going to see it. But really, honestly, I think the part of nesting that gets ignored is the readiness in your spirit and in your mind. So it's not so much cleaning and preparing freezer meals and all these things. It's getting emotionally ready to close the chapter that you just experienced, and to also tell a part of yourself goodbye as a female, because you'll never be that person again. I'll never be just a boy mom again. I'll never be just Waylon's mom again. This chapter that I had with just Waylon and I, where it was just a dynamic duo of the two of us, day in and day out, it won't be us anymore. It'll be us and Avery, which is both a wonderful and miraculous thing that we're having more than one child, but also at the same time, it's another shift. So you're having to ready your heart, per se. And that's also the way that the Bible calls us to live our lives, especially through childbirth symbolizes the world preparing to welcome back Christ. And him come back. And it says that, the world will have like labor pains, and then people will need to be getting ready. So in a way, it's like nesting. You have to get yourself spiritually ready. You have to get yourself spiritually aligned, your house spiritually aligned. You have to be on a page to where when the time comes, because he is coming and it is inevitable, and he could come at literally any time in the middle of the night. It says he's going to come like a thief in the night. So at any single moment in time, he could come back, and you don't want to be sitting there just, for lack of a better term, with your pants down, just not
Yeah, we talk about the oil all the time, making sure that your oil is
filled. Yep.
and full.
Yep. And that you have extra oil with you. Yep.
It is true. It is true. And I like the way you put that. Because it is, I think you could go into childbirth and or parenthood or pregnancy and it just be about humanity. I can't imagine that. Like, I can't imagine just having a kid just to have a kid. Like, this whole experience, like I was saying, the way it brings you closer to God, the way that it can shake and rattle you if you're not tight with God, like if you're not seeking, spiritually, like his sustenance for your life, like the way it rattles you, and sometimes, you know what? Like sometimes you're going to make it through, just like Michael and I talk about, like how, like you could not know God. You could not have any relationship with God, and you could go through your whole life, your whole career, and you can make it big. You can make it really big. There's so many people out there that are making it really big, and that's great for them. But sometimes the fractures that come from this experience of bringing children and life into the world and without a relationship with Christ or seeking him first, like the fractures that happen, and even when you are seeking him, the fractures that happen between marriages are so small and they're so buried deep that you don't even experience those as like a crevasse or like as a significant fracture or separation, maybe until like 10, 15 years later. And so, like what you're saying, preparing is an everyday occurrence because we have no idea like when Christ is going to return. And also to some degree, you have no idea when some of those things and divides and or differences or things, hardenings of the heart or whatever the case is, like when those are really going to appear and how you're going to deal with those. Right. And I'm not saying like, I'm not, I'm not going, hey, by the way, from 2 years ago.
No, I think that, it really depends on how closely you're watching your heart and how you're watching what goes on around you. That's the thing, is that, we're now in a culture, as a society, as a cutoff culture where it's trendy, and there are some good reasons. So I'm not saying this as like a whole, but it is trendy to cut people off from your life and just, oh, they don't serve their purpose with me, just bye.
Yeah.
And that creates a lot of strife and hardship deep down in your soul, because you never learn conflict resolution. You never learn how to have healing conversations or to give certain conversations a chance. There's people that are in dire situations that have been abused and exploited, and those types of relationships shouldn't be renewed. And there are certain areas where you shouldn't pursue those things, but then there's other areas where it's like, if you're just generally offended by somebody, that doesn't mean that you should just cut them off just right out the gate, because ultimately then your heart's going to get hard and you're going to end up bitter. It's so interesting because I just listened to a sermon the other morning by Christine Kane that she did at Passion 2026, and she went through the life of Joseph.
Okay.
And she talked about how basically how he went from a prison to a palace, right? But God brought him onto the land of the palace 22 years before he got in the palace. So he spent 22 years of his life just doing a room change, but he had to stay faithful. And how metaphorically we can put ourselves in a prison to where we become bitter, and that's all we talk about is who's wronged us, how they wronged us, what they've done, and how if we stay in that place of that prison, eventually, if we do move to the room that we're supposed to be in to fulfill our calling, we won't know what to do because we didn't invite God into the prison with us to free us. So we never even learned how to be free. So even if you're standing or sitting on the throne in the palace, head honcho, making all the money, doing all the things, being the bigwig, you're no better off than you were years prior.
Yeah. That's big because I've faced that like in real time right now. And I think I've talked to Michael a little bit about that and maybe not articulated it well, but you just did just now. I think that's like some of the dreams that I've had, some of the even just like zoning out and like daydreaming that I've had, feeling it in my spirit is this overwhelming sense that no matter which direction I turn, I'm heading the wrong way. Right? Like, so if I'm going to go down this path with the podcast, if the podcast were to like become something, start producing for itself, whatever else, like there's nothing, like I'm like projected to the end of it, almost like, goes to Christmas past and like you're like seeing all these different outcomes or whatever things that have happened. Like I get to the end of it and the feeling is just dread,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's dread, or it's like this wall and there's no like substance there. There's no value or like purpose or impact there. And it just like doesn't matter which way I turn, like my career that I'm in sometimes. But I think you said it like just a moment ago, which was if I'm not inviting God into the room, one that I'm trying to get out of, like captivity that I'm trying to get out of, and that could be generational curses
Yeah.
or
Unforgiveness.
unforgiveness, strongholds, different things. That could be that promotion that you're trying to get, or that new career jump you're trying to make, or that friendship that you're trying to mend, or that friendship that you're trying to sever,
Mm-hmm.
right? All those different things. I've not done a great job, which, does lead to like my feelings of being inferior as like whether a leader or husband or provider or whatever the case. Like if I'm being honest, like that's where like it originates, right? And so I've not done a great job because I'm very hard-headed and I'm very headstrong to want to hold the reins
Mm-hmm.
and to want to do everything myself. And I can go all day long in terms of saying like the reason why I do that is because I feel like I can't really trust anyone to do their part.
Sure.
That's a real thing though. Like I do feel that way. Like, and it sucks because I just feel like, what is it saying? Like, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Right.
And so, but I can't say that for God. Like the ways that he shows up and his faithfulness and how good he is, there's no comparison. But I've not been the greatest at that. And so because of that, like I don't sever friendships or make new friendships or seek that new promotion and or step out in faith here in this part of my life because I've not invited him into those rooms. I've not invited him into my prayers. I've not invited him into like my heart in the ways that I think have the most profound, what's the word for that? Like the most profound impact and surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like really feeling that and experiencing that now today, like for the first time. So all paths lead to something insignificant because all paths didn't originate with something significant, which is inviting Christ into like what's the word for that? Like when basically like the war room,
Yeah.
like the war room where like all the big decisions are made. Like I don't invite him always to the forefront of that. And it's just something I'm experiencing in real time. So that's interesting off of what you were saying.
Well, I think that any path can be brought to his glory and what he's ultimately planned you to do. I mean, you have to think about it also is that there's threads in your life that you never would have chosen for yourself that he weaves into a tapestry, and then when he flips it over, it's his plan. Without those threads, you wouldn't appreciate certain things that you do now. You know what I mean? It's like when you have a cold and you can't breathe through your nose and you can't go without coughing. You don't ever appreciate being able to breathe through your nose the same as when you have a cold and you're trying to sleep and you have to mouth breathe all night long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So, I mean, ultimately, every path that we envision for ourselves does end up dire because we're envisioning it for ourselves. That's why it's so important to ask God to give you dreams and ask God to give you motivation to go into the direction and the discipline that you need to go into. So I think that any path, including this podcast, as long as, it's stewarded properly in terms of like all the glory is given to him, whether it produces a ton of money or a little money, or it has a ton of sponsorships, or it has no sponsorships, or whatever the case may be, it will be brought to his glory regardless.
Yeah.
And, in the Bible, it talks about woe to those who are wealthy because they have tremendous trouble.
Yeah.
Which is a huge paraphrase there, but Um, basically, I read a quote a couple months ago, and it was talking about how someone didn't understand why people who follow Christ seem to have much less than people who don't. So, like, you know, big celebrities, people that are worshiping the world, people that are running around, doing
Yeah.
things that we morally are not correct or whatever, why they have so much money and and so much profit and blessing. And it doesn't seem like they have as many problems as people who try so hard to follow Christ. And the quote basically said, well, it's because of where your treasure's laid up.
Mm.
If your treasures are laid up in heaven, you're not looking to drive a Lambo here. You're not looking to wear Cartier here. You're not looking to go on expensive vacations and drive private jets and do all those things here. You're laying your treasures up in heaven, so you're doing work with your left hand that your right hand doesn't know it's doing. And that's the way that it's supposed to be. But if you're laying up your treasures here and you're constantly focusing all your time and attention and making money and doing hustle culture, then naturally you're going to have more here.
That's true.
And it's, again, it's just a general statement. It's a heart posture. So it's not, to shame anybody or anything like that. You can very much be wealthy and still have laid up treasure in heaven for sure. But, it's just one of those things where you can't compare what your life is doing to other people's life, because comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Which goes back to like the conversations that we're constantly, or I'm at least constantly influencing about social media, which is that comparison. It's like the death of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like, I mean, if you go to the root of it, and like jumping off of social media was one of the better and best things that I've done. Probably like in the last several years. And I still try to find ways to jump on there, on the business pages. But at least, and I was telling Cody about this, like at least if I'm jumping on and I'm trying to like scroll on the business pages, like I catch myself because I'm on the business page. I'm like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's at least something like, cutting that the thread at some point, because I don't do very well to regulate my time and or regulate myself on my own, which doesn't mean that I shouldn't try to like strive for that. But, at the same time, like trying to find the areas and what I was praying for, especially going into this new year, trying to uncover the areas, letting God uncover the areas of my life that were posing like the greatest risk, and like at the core and at the root of it, like really distracting me from like my purpose, which I'm really excited for, like this upcoming semester at the church, at Anchor, and kind of what the men's Bible groups are going to do there. The one I'm joining in is about freedom, and finding out what your identity is in Christ. And I think that for me, like that's what I'm hungry for, is I need that identity. I need to know who I am in Christ and who he says I am, especially purpose driven wise, because I've got so much I want to do. I've got so much I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like the more I do that just off of the itch to want to scratch something, and not for like the kingdom driven purpose, the more it just like demoralizes me. It just dissects like those pieces of me that really hunger for creativity or hunger for adventure and like something new. And I find those like falling away, and the more it falls away, the more I just feel like I'm caught in the system of just working to work, or just building a rocket to like further humanity. Like that's the craziest thing to me, like to think about like just the expansion of humanity for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Like at the end of it, I just don't feel like there's real value or like real sustenance. So it's hard. It's a challenge. It's very transparent. It's very real. That's like what I'm experiencing right now. what are you experiencing right now in your spirit?
I think for me, I've just experienced a huge paradigm shift with um right after I had Waylon, I was before Waylon, I was very career driven. I really wanted to be making it like professionally. I found that my professional career was exciting and I had things that I was wanting to strive for and do. And then I had Waylon and I felt like my calling and that persona that I had put on fell off. And I really wanted to just be a good mom. Like I still wanted to help provide and do what I could, but I really just wanted to be a mom that was very hands-on and very attentive and just not based upon myself. So that has kind of grown into now um I feel the most excited and driven when I'm learning about Jesus and when I'm having quiet time or I'm listening to a sermon and something clicks and the sermon spills over into the Holy Spirit ministering to me directly. Like to me, that's been the most exciting because ultimately now, my dream job, of course, is to be a mom and to be a good mom. Like what I'm going to get tested on and graded by, when I die and when I go stand before Jesus is not only how I stewarded my part of our marriage, but how I stewarded our kids.
Mm.
And so for me, that's become a focus and it's become a pivotal point of just constantly analyzing what I could do to be better, to be more honoring, to be more patient, to be more loving, to be more kind, to be a better friend. And in my spirit, I've had a big shift also in that God has provided me with several women in my life that have been able to pour into me, and I've been able to acquire these adult friendships that I didn't know were possible. I didn't know were a thing. Like I, of course, always wanted a girl tribe or whatever, but yeah, I just never foresaw myself being with a group of women that not only cheer me on, but also correct me.
Mm-hmm. Which is huge.
And that's something that I didn't know, that I needed. I didn't know I needed women that weren't afraid to call me out on crap, or when they see something that they've experienced in the past that they could go, hey, that being in you is not good.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to pull that out. You need to do something different. You need to pray about, you need to handle that. And that's something that, I really appreciate is that, and I think that's what we all long for is you want a girl tribe for sure. You want to be able to go on vacations and you want to have a good time. You want to laugh. You want to create lasting memories. You want to do all these things with other women because women get women for sure. But at the same time, if you're going to hang around women and they're not going to tell you the truth, there's no point in being around them,
It's true. It's true. Or there's so many other dynamics to that. I think we could probably dive into and have like a whole other podcast, obviously.
Yeah, just on friendships.
Yeah, just on friendships and just just from a lady's perspective too, And but we'll say that for another time. But I mean, you're so right. I mean, I've seen that in you, and it's been wonderful to the extent that I'm thanking your friends for their position in your life, because as I watch them pour into you, whether or not it's their intention or not, I receive from you because of that.
Right.
In a different way, which is awesome, and in such a way that I haven't experienced before, because going through 8 years of marriage and
10 years being together.
10 years being together and watching you grow and watching you, become the woman that you are today, and as your husband and as your best friend and as your, provider and caretaker and your person, has been important to watch the other dynamics that are your friendships in other areas where you find community. Like, it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be you and I versus the world. Like, that's a hard place to be in. It's a hard place to be in for kids too. Like, eventually, like, we were both kids,
Yeah.
And we're both sons, and or I'm a son and you're a daughter, and
We're not both sons.
yeah, we're not both. We're both sons.
We are not
What's
both
up, homie?
sons.
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
But it's important to, one, have your own life to some degree.
Oh yeah.
No matter like how you spin it, but then also, like, in marriage, to have those people that you can, mine's Michael, and Cody and several other individuals that, like, I can Nicholas, Rainey, like, that guy will call me exactly like when I needed to be called, because he's like spirit led. Like, he's like, he just, the intuition that the Holy Spirit gives him to call me and go, hey man, I just wanted to check on you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those things help me to, like, walk in boldness
Mm-hmm.
and to walk in confidence. And I've been able to see that in you in, like, the last several years, or at least year, with the women that you're surrounded with. Small group, and it's not always going to be the biggest, 15, 20, 30, 40 different people, but, like, it's this very small group, but their intentions for you and their love and their care for you, it's something that money can't buy. And then two, I just can't provide that.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Also, it's just really interesting because this is going to be like a side thing, but when you're in art school, especially when you're in certain studies, you get kind of quietly looped into two different groups. So you get looped in either into digital or analog.
Okay.
And something that has been showcased to me recently, like just in my own thoughts and stuff and in journaling, is that I started off so digital to where it was like mass production, mass everything, like everything just quick and easy and at your fingertips and all that stuff. Although I had a love for film and everything else, like everything was just mass produced. And I feel like through the trajectory of certain areas of my life, God has taken this mass producing, easy, quick, digital, could literally do anything system and dwindle it down to now where it's like I'm fully an analog person. Like, I have a drive for a close knit community. I have a drive for family dinners. I have a drive for handwritten letters. I have a drive for personal touches around a home instead of mass produced art. Like, everything has dwindled itself down to where now I find myself one of those people that is more like in a library rather than sitting there reading on a Kindle or something like that, something to where it's like physical and it means something. Even recently, you and I, we had that conversation about what a scam subscription services are. Remember? Like Spotify,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Netflix,
Yeah.
not Michael's subscription service, not the newsletter, but
Yeah.
sorry,
What newsletter? What are you talking
Michael.
about?
But just how now you pay so much money every single month to never own anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You don't own music. You
Yeah,
don't
okay,
own
okay,
records.
yeah,
You
I
don't.
remember that.
Yeah.
I slept since then. I'm
You
sorry.
were there.
Yeah,
I promise you were
I
there.
was there. It was me, right? Who the heck is the other guy?
It was you.
Is it your boyfriend?
No.
All right.
I only date you.
Well, we're going to hook you up to a lie detector test after this.
Okay. That's exciting.
That would be awesome to do on the podcast. Yeah.
A lie detector?
No, never mind. I don't want to do that.
Are you sure that would be the juiciest podcast?
Dude, the whole lie detector series would be you asking me if I've taken bites of your freaking desserts.
Did you eat my cheesecake?
You remember 6 months ago that bite in the cheesecake? Yeah.
Do you love me or do you just like me?
Yeah. It's true though. We do pay a lot of money for these subscriptions off of things that we don't actually even own. We just stream from a cloud, and it's just wild.
Well, I mean, it's like you're surfing through Prime and Hulu and all that stuff, and you can't find anything to watch, and then the one thing you want to watch, you have to pay for.
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous.
Did you hear that creature? I think that was my stomach.
Yeah, it's getting close to lunch.
Close to lunch. This is good. This is really good. I love you.
Did you like it? I love you.
Yeah. Anytime that we get a chance to jump on unscriptedly, hopefully this 2026 year gives more opportunities, and we're kind of in a confined space right now because we're at the home studio, but
we like each other.
If you could zoom out for just a minute, you'd see the white walls that are just on the outside of this, to be transparent, on the outside of this camera view. But we made it work, and I appreciate you for jumping on. I think that this was just so important because I wanted to document, just like we did audibly, but I wanted to document just this moment before we became a family of 4. I think even for the podcast, and God called me to this. So if God called me to podcast, and God called me to show my family and to show where I actually find rest and where I find rejuvenation, which is here at home with my people. And it's just such a wonderful thing, one, to be able to serve Christ in public.
Mm-hmm.
We're just so thankful as a family to be able to do that.
Yes.
And just individuals. That's something that we pray about all the time, before meals or just in our daily prayers, is the fact that we get a chance to just walk outdoors and serve Christ openly. And some areas are not able to do that, and they're persecuted for it. And so first and foremost, that's just what a joy. And then 2, just the fact that we have this opportunity and this equipment and have made these investments, and you've been a huge part of that. She blessed me with this computer that I'm using today, and she knows what, as my person, she knows what I value and what I am looking for without ever having to even ask me. And so she's made some pretty major investments, babe, in this podcast and in this adventure that we've been on for the last 4 years. From audio devices to the laptop to, portable mics and different stuff like that. You've been a part of that, but then also time-wise, anytime that I have a podcast, she takes Waylon and herself, and she leaves, and she gives us this space to do it. And I'm just so thankful. I think I've talked about that before on the podcast, but I'm so thankful for you being our number one fan, for you just pouring into the scope of this thing, and keeping us, at least for me, keeping me charged and ready and just focused on being present for this thing, when I know you would probably prefer that time for yourself. And so thank you.
Oh, it's an honor.
And thank you for coming on board. And I can't wait for some of your friends to catch wind of this one and to really encourage you to start your own podcast. Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll see what God leads.
Closing thoughts?
Always subscribe. We're on everywhere that you could possibly stream us. If you liked it, of course, leave a comment. If you have questions, also leave a comment. I think this is one of the first podcasts that Will did not out something about me, like the time ticking or anything like that. So now you could put a face to whatever. And as always, if you're an OG, then keep your teeth white.
Keep your teeth white. That's good. Peace.
Bye.